presentation seminar, Educational Foundation of ISKCON. I was originally scheduled to do this along with my wife, but she had a family emergency, because of which she has to go to another city. So my name is Tapan Mishra Das. I currently perform the service as the Executive Director for ISKCON's Ministry of Education. And what I shall share with you comes from a perspective that I've gathered over the period of last 2 years in education per se within ISKCON. In addition, I also perform some other services for ISKCON as an institution, which also has given me some perspective, some visibility on where we stand with respect to education. So these other services that I perform for ISKCON include that besides education, currently I'm also doing the service as a director for the Global Duty Office or Global Duties Office, where we're trying to develop the various functions within ISKCON and to strengthen ISKCON as an institution, for which I am giving another seminar called GBC Staffing. Plus, I also serve in the area of properties for ISKCON in the Global Property Office. And I have been serving with devotees such as Gopal Bhatta Prabhu, Kauntya Prabhu, and other senior devotees on the Organizational Development Committee and the GBC Nominations Committee, which allows us to come in touch with devotees around the world. I have traveled to about 70 countries. It was more because of my profession, which I've gladly given up. But it gave me an opportunity to visit our communities, at least in 70 countries around the world, and observe firsthand what is the state of education. So the background is that when I had to take up 2 years back...
papers. Okay, you have to share. Okay.
All right.
So can somebody have the schedule just to confirm?
Anuttama Prabhu just took over the symposium for a few seconds. I am back online. So when I was asked to take on service, a global duty service, I was looking at which area can I serve, and I felt that education was something that would be very close to my heart as part of my services. I also preach, if I may use that word. I preach and helped establish our community in Kuwait, ISKCON community in Kuwait. So I serve as a zonal supervisor for Kuwait as well as Iran, Persia. And whenever I'm not sitting in front of some elevated Vaishnavas who are more knowledgeable than me, which most of you are, I also try to study Srila Prabhupada's books regularly, and if opportunity arises, I teach Bhakti Vaibhav and Bhakti Shastri whenever opportunity arises. So I have children. I have 2 daughters. I'm married. I have 2 daughters. So I can very much relate to how it is for mother and father within ISKCON when they have to look for, okay, where do I send my child? Where do I send them for school? So for me, when we couldn't find, we just decided I left my job and everything and moved to Sridham Mayapur. I said, okay, at least there are schools. Obviously, not many of us are able to do that, and we struggle. So there are many reasons why I'm making this presentation in front of you. Many of these challenges I have faced personally, and what I'll capture here will reflect on some of those challenges that I faced personally. So let's begin with history of education in ISKCON. 2 years back at the previous ILS, I actually presented, me along with my wife, we presented, wow, somebody has just become very kind on us. 2 years back, we presented a seminar called Passing the Torch of Knowledge. That was a detailed seminar which captured the history of education, and specifically the Ministry of Education within ISKCON over the last 50 plus years. So very often when we try to come in front of devotees as Ministry of Education, we are faced with criticism. And everybody's saying, oh, what are you doing? What have you done? Why is education like this? Why is education not like that within ISKCON? Right? But you ask any educator, for example, Mataji is now smiling, ask any educator who's trying to do education in ISKCON, and they will tell you the real challenges that they face every hour that they want to perform this service. So that seminar captured the 50 years history of education and the ministry, all the ups and downs that it went through. I'm putting here just the highlights of 4 points that I felt were important from that seminar. But if you are interested in more details, I can share with you the whole presentation. In fact, actually, there was a very nice paper compiled by one devotee in early 2000s, which looked at the history there for 30 years. The education happens to be the core principle for ISKCON. In fact, if you look at the purposes of ISKCON, the very first purpose is about education. If you go through the remaining 6 of them, you'll find that there are at least 4 more which directly talk about education or something to do with education. I'd like to bring to your attention that 2 years after incorporating ISKCON, right at the beginning when Srila Prabhupada formed ISKCON, within 2 years, one of his primary instructions to his disciples was to establish education and schools. Now you must wonder, at that time there were hardly any married couples, mostly brahmacharis and brahmacharinis. Why? Because our founder Acharya could see. He could see how this institution, how this movement is going to evolve. So he was a visionary. Srila Prabhupada could see the need of that back then. In fact, in 1975, he asked one of the GBC members then to withdraw from his responsibilities, Jagdish Prabhu, and said, I want you to focus completely on establishing education in the form of Gurukulas and other initiatives. So he was asked to withdraw from everything else. That's how important Srila Prabhupada felt. And amongst the first 3 ministries that Srila Prabhupada established, there were only 3 ministries, very few that Prabhupada established himself personally when he was present on the planet. And Ministry of Education was one of them. Ministry of Education, Ministry of Records, and Ministry for Developing Varnashram. Simple living and high thinking. Right? So I'm reflecting these thoughts with you to just give you a perspective of how important our founder Acharya felt education was. And if you like to know more about the history, I can share that seminar with you from last ILS. Now, if we establish or confirm that yes, education is very, very important for ISKCON, what is it? Is education separate from ISKCON? So is ISKCON education or is education ISKCON? Actually, it's inseparable. If you look at the life of a devotee, or if you look at a morning sadhana, there is education element embedded in the form of Bhagavatam class. If you look at evening, Bhagavad Gita. And at the time when Prabhupada was present, believe it or not, he also instructed his disciples that besides attending class in the morning and evening, they must also read and study Srila Prabhupada's books every day. In fact, if they were not reading or studying, he would ask them. He would ask the books distributors. So my message is that our movement is actually an educational movement. I'll request somebody to please read this quote from Srila Prabhupada. Yes, please. Prabhupada very clearly said that Krishna consciousness movement is an educational movement. Now, if we accept this statement from our founder Acharya, we accept that we are an educational movement, it is also important for us to establish what is the goal of this education. What is the goal? Often, when we are trying to think, we as members of ISKCON, it's very important for us to study Srila Prabhupada's books and identify what does Srila Prabhupada define. Would somebody please help me read this quote as well? Prabhu, yes? Prabhu, could you be a little bit louder? Because I have a generator set that you're competing with at the back. Sure. Please go ahead.
And that is the perfection of
The problem is not just men, but mostly men. Most domestic abuse.
What mantras do I have to chant to switch this off? Okay, so we will switch that off, right? And then this will not start? Okay. Because I just heard somebody said the problem is men. So, Okay. Prabhu, thank you for highlighting to us a very important point. Prabhu just read for us that this goal of education is our eternal relationship with God. And this is no different than what we hear and we speak in every single temple every day, and which is Krishna Prem. You must be familiar with situations where
The economic costs of
where you
domestic
get-
abuse in the
I
USA
have one
alone
suggestion.
amount to more than 37 billion a year in law enforcement involvement.
Will that mean that my mic will also not work? Hare Krishna. Is it okay if I disconnect it? Because this is indeed interrupting our seminar 3 times. You would notice that whenever devotees feel inspired, in your communities or temple centers, they start to do something about education. If you have few children running around, or then somebody tells you, why don't we establish a school? Very good, yes, we must establish a school. When the children grow up a little bit, they say, why not do a secondary school? Okay, so then let's make a secondary school, and so on and so forth. But there is a possibility that in whatever we are attempting to do for education, we get so influenced from the outside world that sometimes we forget that the whole purpose of all of our education is to develop this love for God, Krishna. So all educators must never forget that our purpose of education within ISKCON, whatever form of education, Shastrik, non-Shastrik, whatever you may do, our purpose is to develop love for God. And the reality is, the barometer, the success, the measurement, whether we are successful in our education or not, both for ourselves and those who are we teaching or helping to teach, will also be the same test. Whether after spending the 1 week, 1 year or 10 years with us, whether we are able to develop love for Krishna. Because this is what this whole movement and all of our efforts are meant for. If we were to take a step back and try to evaluate, do an honest evaluation of where we stand, there are some statistics that I like to share with you. Now, we all are very inspired that we would like to have the holy name and the holy Mahamantra of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, chanted in every town and village. So, in order to do so, we have to see other world religions who are almost present in every town and village. What have they done? I have some statistics for you. I'll first take Islam. In the world religion of Islam, there are 40,000 Bhakti Shastri institutes for Islam. And do you know where? What is the scope? All over the world? No. In just one small country called Pakistan, there are 40,000 madrasas, which are their schools for teaching their scripture. 40,000. And therefore, or that is one of the reasons now Islam has more than 1 billion followers. It is the fastest growing religion. If you were to take Christianity, you'll find similar sort of staggering numbers. There are close to 100,000 Catholic. I'm just talking about Catholicism, not Protestantism or something else, just Catholicism. They have 100,000 elementary schools. So we have two options when we look at these statistics. One is to get depressed and hit ourselves, where are we after 50 years? We have just about 5 or 10 institutes for Bhakti Shastri all over the world. Or we can open up our mind and think that if we really want the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to be chanted in every town and village, we have to take care of our children, our adults and their education, and we have to come to this scale, right? So the purpose of this is to just open our mind on how much more service there is to perform in front of educators in the next 10,000 years. In this seminar, with that background, I like to bring to your attention that most of the world religions, unknown to us, are actually harnessing technology to pursue their cause of education around the world. And they're very actively using it. Not only for education, even for creating positive propaganda, etc. Now, we are in the 21st century, and in this century of 21st century, we must adopt also, embrace technology to pursue the cause of education. And there are many principles such as online education, etc., which we have to consider. If we don't consider those principles, if we don't consider technology, we will be the only ones who will have a loss. Everybody else is going to move forward. So now the remaining seminar that I'm going to share with you will have two parts. The first part that I'm going to embark upon is to share with you what the ministry is trying to do now moving forward in the coming 1 or 2 years, right? And the second part that I'll share with you is what you can try to do locally in the centers and temples or the communities that you're trying to encourage and inspire. So let's embark upon the first part. In the first part, I will be sharing with you the initiatives that the ministry is undertaking to help the educators. And whatever I'm sharing with you, unless I specifically point out to you, are projects. So most of these are projects that we have already started and we are actively working on. Some of them, if there is anything which we have not started and something we want to do in the future, I will specifically highlight to you. So I'm not standing in front of you and sharing something which we plan to do, but these are mostly facts we have established. So when I shared with you at the beginning of the symposium, when I took over this service in 2018, somewhere around that, 2018, couple of years back, 1.5 years back, more actively, the activity or the scope of the ministry was fairly limited. In fact, I remember looking at ISKCONeducation.org because I was considering performing this service. I saw the link, and on the front page, on the home page, there were articles in 2018, middle of 2018, there were articles from 2012. That was like the first article on top. And I said, oh, Krishna, there's a lot of service to perform here. And we were conducting at that time a regional symposium which was organized in North America. Once in a year, there was a gathering in North America. And probably that's it. That's all that was actively going on. And if you look at the history of education symposium, you will get an idea, which I gave in 2018. Because I was trying to put my head, why? But that gives a very good background of why it was like that. So whatever else I'm sharing with you is what we have tried to develop over the last 1 year. This section of my symposium will take single words. At the center is the ministry, and around it are simple words which I will use to communicate something with you or share something with you. The first word will be inform. The second word will be basis. Third is learn. Fourth is connect, share, develop, and then the most boring, about us. Each of these words, each of these circles that I will go through, in the preceding slides, one by one, I will share with you the initiatives of the ministry and what does it mean. What is it that we are undertaking in each of these? So let me start with inform. And I call this our master plan. If you look at ministry website today, there's a certain structure that it has. But we have come to a point where our projects and our efforts cannot be captured in the current existing structure. So moving forward, after say 1 or 2 months, when you look at the ministry website, it will also be in the form of these simple words, which will allow you to get an explanation of what is happening. So the first word is inform. When I'll cover a particular word, I'll also share with you what is the need of that effort. Because this is also my analysis of how ministries must operate. One of the primary functions for any ministry is to keep the devotees or the audience informed. Call it communication, call it just keeping them aware of what is happening. And in this case of Ministry of Education, we will be informing you in 4 ways. The first will be in the form of what's new. Right? I'm hopeful that 5,000 years from now, we'll have a Dandavats dedicated just for education. Probably even 500 years from now. What does it mean? It means there'll be so much educational activity within ISKCON that every day there'll be some article, there'll be some news. So we'll be able to share something with you every single day. So when you'll come to the inform section, there'll be something with you every single day. I think we are not there now. Our excitement around education is far and few between, but it will develop. The second part will be every 15 days, we will share with you 15-minute videos. These are inspirational videos or topical videos. Last year, for the first time, we conducted an international education symposium. And in that symposium, which was conducted in Mayapur, for the first time, more than 100 devotees and educators from around the world came together, sat together for 3 days, and discussed only about education. There were close to 24 speakers who spoke on different topics of education. Krishna Kshetra Maharaj, Hanumat Prasheka Maharaj, and many, many. When we conducted that symposium, we actually recorded those talks. Each talk was a short 15-minute talk on a topic. Example, Krishna Kshetra Maharaj spoke on the topic of education and not indoctrination. Yeah, very interesting topic. Should we make devotees sentimentalists, or should we really educate them? So very powerful topics. So we recorded them, and subsequently we have edited those because it was done in a tent like this. The lighting was not so good, audio was not good. Now we have all of those symposium talks ready. And for the pleasure of the devotees and the education community, again this year, on the 21st and 22nd of February, we're organizing the second symposium, the second annual international symposium. And once again, we have 22 speakers who will be speaking on completely different topics compared to last year. So they come, and some of you, how many of you are aware or familiar with the TED Talks? TED Talks, right? Okay, 3, 4, 5 devotees. So the attempt has been the same. They actually come and speak for only 15 minutes. So I do put pressure on the speakers to really churn their thoughts down into just 15 minutes. So, there's a lot of churning they have to do. So they come and speak for 15 minutes on a topic, and after that, they're questioned for the remaining 5 to 7 minutes. That's all there is. And from one topic to the other. So we'll have another 22 talks now. The ministry will, from the month of March, every fortnight, every 15 days, we will be releasing one such talk for the education community. And these talks will run from March now until the 3rd annual symposium next year in Gaur Purnima. That way, we will keep our educators up to date about some important topic of education coming from experienced educators. The third aspect that we'll be sharing with you is once every month, we will share with you a best practice. Best practice essentially means we'll take a case study, and we are currently working, for the first case study, we're working with the community in Hungary, New Rajdham, New Rajamandala. And there, we're asking them to produce a video, a 30-minute case study, where they will share their successes, their challenges, how did they navigate this whole world of education. And they've established a very good education system in their community. So we will be presenting to the devotees once every month one case study of success in education. And it will have also a variety. It could be a college, it could be a Shastrik Institute, it could be a Gurukul, or it could be a children's education program in a community. But besides preparing this half an hour inspiring case study, one request that I'm putting forward to anybody who wants to give this is that they should be willing to give a helping hand. Which essentially means that if you're running a school which is successful and you present that case study, very good, but you should be open to the idea that if another devotee in another part of the world wants to understand how to establish a devotee school, you should be willing to give little time to them. So that's the spirit. It's not just one-way communication, but it will also create a sense of helping each other. Because why do we want to reinvent the wheel? So that's the purpose of every 1 month, one case study, best practice from around the world of ISKCON that we will share. And last but not the least, once every quarter, which is 3 months, we are publishing our journal. It's called Viplavaha, which we are doing now for the last 2 years, and we'll continue to do that. What will Viplava include? Viplava will not repeat just the case study or this and that. No, besides that, it will take something from there as a journal, but it will actually address some of the foundational aspects of education in ISKCON. Let's say the philosophy of education. It will include a paper. It will include the thoughts of an educator, so on and so forth. So essentially, that is our inform activity, that first circle that I talked about. Now, all of this, the symposium is underway, the journal is ongoing, and the case studies are being prepared. So this is something that we are going to be presenting. This is going to be shared. Active projects which are going on. Right? So, having talked about communication and informing you, I'll move to the next section of the projects that the ministry is trying to undertake. That is called BASIS. Now, at the earlier section of my talk, I shared with you that how educators can get inspired by what they see outside and sometimes go completely wayward, as we call it in English, completely off track. There's a possibility that the ministry may also do the same. So how do we remain grounded as a ministry? How do we make sure that we don't lose touch with what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do? For that, the first project that is now being undertaken is to make sure that we inspire our teachers, our educators, our parents, and our community members to read Prabhupada's books every day. And that project is called Books Are the Basis. How many of you relate to this or subscribe to the same view that if educators or teachers themselves were not reading Srila Prabhupada's books daily, there is a chance that they will be affected and act on a mental platform and get carried away with the pushings that come from outside? How many of you feel that could be the case? Right. Thank you. We also felt that the ministry, its members, and the educators who are part of it must do this. I have here Devarshi Prabhu. Prabhuji, if you can kindly stand up and turn around. So Devarshi Prabhu is performing this service. He is coordinating this project on behalf of the ministry. We are going in front of the GBC body this time in the meetings. A proposal is put in front of them to give their support for this project. There are various parts to the project. I would encourage you to be part of this project. It includes preparing inspirational videos from leaders on the importance of reading Prabhupada's books. It includes establishing more study groups for studying Prabhupada's books. It includes preparing a training where one of the devotees who reads Prabhupada's books on a regular basis, Vaisheshika Prabhu, we are in touch with him. He's agreed to prepare a training. What should be the mood when we pick up Prabhupada's books? And what are the techniques by which we don't get overwhelmed? A lot of us get overwhelmed. My God, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, no, how do we move forward? So there's the training. We are also proposing that much like we have a Kirtan week, Harinam week, we want to have 1 week where devotees are going to dedicate, leaders are going to dedicate to encourage everybody to read Prabhupada's books daily. We are calling it the Shravanam week. There is Kirtan week, let's have Shravanam week. Because it's so important. It is so important. Besides this, it is our aspiration that we will also have a first-class book published in the next 1.5-2 years, which will be called Books Are the Basis. And much like Sri Namamrita, which inspires everybody to chant the holy name daily, this can be read around the world in all of our centers. A book which has a one purpose, and the purpose of that book will be that after reading it, devotees and members of ISKCON will prioritize reading Srila Prabhupada's books over every other literature which is available in our bookstalls. And that they will start doing it daily. That's our aspiration. That's how powerful that book should be. So that's with respect to this project. If any of you are reading and feel inspired to talk about this, we are actually doing video recordings during this whole month. Devarishi Prabhu is here. You can contact him. He's gladly record you with your inspiration of reading Srila Prabhupada's books. So that's one of the important, or let's say one of the very, very important components for us as a ministry to focus on. In fact, I share with most people, I said, if everything else was to be forgotten about education, but just this one fact, if the members and devotees of ISKCON were reading Srila Prabhupada's books every day, we will consider that the purpose of this Ministry of Education is fulfilled. You know what I mean? If just at least that part gets done. The next part is philosophy of education. There are many disciples of Srila Prabhupada and some other devotees who spent 40, 50 years of their life just focusing on teaching within ISKCON. And very soon they will be moving. Before they leave, the ministry is working with them to capture what should be the philosophy of education within ISKCON. These are journal level publications that we're trying to put together. So Rasamandala Prabhu, Urmila Mataji, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj, and many, many senior educators, we are getting them to put papers. These papers will be available. We have already put together 6, more will become, and we'll start making it available for all the educators. How does it help? How do you think these philosophy of education papers are going to help? When you start your education initiative, you can go through these papers because they will give you grounding, they will give you a perspective on what should be the philosophy of education. How should we establish our educational program like that? So this is something that is also being done. Last but not the least, in terms of creating our own foundation, a ministry must understand from devotees, parents, and educators what are the needs, what are the educators looking, what are the parents wanting, what are the devotees of ISKCON want. For this, we launched in December an international education census. Much like you have a population census, where the government collects or a ministry collects data on population, we are collecting a detailed data from educators on what they think, or leaders, what do the leaders think are the needs for education within ISKCON. Because as a ministry, we want to guide our efforts, besides Prabhupada's books, besides philosophy, also on the needs of the devotee community, which will be captured through this census. We already have now 100+ devotees, educators who have participated in it. Our effort is that we'll compile at least 1,000 educators or 1,000 devotees around the world to participate in this census. And then we'll be presenting an analysis for the world of ISKCON on what comes out of that. So that is the basis part, how we are creating our own foundation in the ministry. I'll pause here for a couple of minutes just to see if anybody has any questions on what I have discussed so far, the 2 components, in form and basis. Any questions? Okay. From this side? There's a question? Yes, Prabhu. I can hear you, yes. So balance is very simple. First of all, use it where it is needed. If you live in Russia, if you live in China, if you live in Middle East or some parts of United States where devotees are living 40 kilometers, 60 kilometers, 80 kilometers away from the center, and they're working. Most of the reality is now most people are working. How do they study? How do they come in touch with what's happening? For that, we use technology. So that's one part. Leaders and educators have to apply that discretion. They have to apply their intelligence where it is needed and where it will become a distraction. I have one simple suggestion. When you open the browser, only have one tab, which is for education. Close the tab for Facebook, close the tab for WhatsApp, close the tab for everything else, all the news, and then you will not get distracted. But as you can apply depending upon different situation. Thank you. Technology is being used, has to be used in an effective way. All right, I'll move on to the next part. Yes. Our goal is for Krishna consciousness, to increase our Krishna consciousness. So this system that I shared is all focused on Krishna consciousness, curriculums around Krishna consciousness. If and when there is a need for supporting our children with secular education, that can also be done. And I'll share something with you on that. I will share something with you, Prabhu, in the presentation that we can share. Currently, I'll share with you is in English, but later on we hope to also have it in Hindi. Okay, thank you. So the next section that I'll share with you is learn, and it's just just now the question came. One of the roles that the ministry must perform is also offer relevant trainings. And our first objective is to provide training for educators themselves. There's so many trainings we can provide. But we don't have resources. We hardly have any money. So we have to prioritize what we have to do. Most devotees around the world are giving seminars. Now it has become very popular. And they're recording YouTube videos. Everybody. For a long time this is happening. So one of the primary trainings that I felt which could help our educators is on instructional design. I felt that if we can help our educators understand how to make a seminar. There are many ISKCON devotees who are inspired to talk about a particular topic. Let's say japa, or hearing, reading Prabhupada's books, or dealing with children. So many topics. If you go to any center, some leader or some inspirational devotee will put one poster, and then you will see 60, 70 devotees are coming and attending. And often they do a very good job. But we want to actually assist them in doing better. We want to share with them the techniques that are used for designing a course, techniques that are used for designing a seminar. Even if you're teaching, what basic techniques can you use? This is not rocket science. But believe me, if we are able to share this with educators and educators are able to adopt some of it, you will see the thousands of devotees who are giving classes and seminars. Suddenly, even if there is 5%, 10% improvement in their impact on how they're sharing, what they're speaking, the efficiency or the benefit that devotees will get will significantly improve. So that was the first training that we attempted. That training is complete and it is now available on the Ministry of Education website. Everything that we do and try to do is available free. If you're registered in the ministry, you can access this. So this training is available. Instructional design by Urmila Mataji. The next thing that will be available now within this week, Krishna willing, and if technology helps us, is a curriculum, age-wise curriculum for children. Now to relate it to the question that Prabhu asked, our children are going to school. And if you are a father or mother like me, you will relate to this challenge that when your child is going to school, you're wondering, now how do I give Krishna conscious education to my child? So what do? I go to one website, maybe ISKCON Desire-Tree, download something. If I find something nice in the 20 minutes that I have, I quickly look and I say, okay, today I teach this. And then next day, after 1 week, I remember, oh, my child is going to school, but this Sunday he did not go to the temple. I want to do something Krishna conscious with him or her. Then I do the same thing, quickly look for something and then put it in front. This program that the ministry is going to release was developed along with the Avanti group of schools in the UK. It starts from reception or kindergarten, KG, and it's a 10 to 11 year program. Week by week, what Krishna conscious education you can give to your child depending upon his age, depending upon his class. So it is not going to talk about mathematics or geography, but it is going to talk about Krishna conscious topic which is relevant. For example, we have now Gaurangi here. She's done a very beautiful book which is also helping the children to do the same thing. And what is the name of the book again? Becoming Your Devotee. Learn Bhakti Fun. Learn Bhakti Fun. So we are in need of so many of such curriculum, material, inspiration, something that practically can be used. So this project, which the ministry is delivering, can be accessed anywhere in the world. Parents or teachers can use it, either for their Sunday school, or parents can use it for their own children on a regular basis and hope that it can improve. Clearly, there will be scope of improvement in this, and we appreciate your feedback. But for the first time, at least you'll have parents and teachers will have something in hand for 10 years, which they can use on a regular basis. And this is available online for everyone to access. Anybody who's registered with the ministry will have free access to this. Otherwise, it's a paid content, or it's something that the Avanti school is going to ask for some fees for outside. But they've been very kind. Our discussions with them, they have allowed those who are registered with us as educators to use it for free. Then the next training, something to learn, how to read Srila Prabhupada's books. This is a training we're going to develop within this year and offer, and it ties up with our Books Are the Basis project. Next is online teachers training program. Mostly today, the way our system works, Shastric education system works, devotees have to come to Vrindavan or Mayapur to get the TTC1, TTC2, BSTTC certificate. The Board of Examiners, which are part of the ministry, we felt that we have many Bhakti Shastri graduates around the world, but they're not able to teach because they're not able to get this certification. So by next Gaur Purnima, we are going to make this certification available online so that the teachers or Bhakti Shastri students can go through this and get certified from wherever they are. And our vision and hope is, if this happens, then we'll have hundreds of Shastric institutes around the world. Do you also feel the same if this happens? So that was our motivation. Yes, Prabhuji? Prabhu, because, right now what we're doing, we're preparing the curriculum. It has to go through some procedural challenges, approvals and everything. So, but outer limit is, it will be released. So that's the attempt. This goes hands in hand with something else which I'll share with you. Along with the Board of Examiners, we are also trying to revise the standards. And if you want to know more about it, you can participate in Atul Krishna Prabhu's seminar, where he's talking about what we are doing at the Ministry and Board of Examiners to make this system of Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma happen in your own centers. And devotees who've been reading Prabhupada's books regularly, they can undertake assessments from long distance. They don't have to come and spend 4 months in different locations. They can undertake this assessment and become Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. But I must point out to you, these two efforts require a lot of push. But that is going on in terms of learning. So I've covered that part. This part, just this part, the last part, the online university is a dream. Everything else that I shared with you are active projects that are going on. With Vaisheshika Prabhu, we have to start this, but he's agreed in principle. But everything else is ongoing right now. One is done and you will see in the coming future. The next part I'll take is connect. One of the fundamental roles that a ministry must perform is also connect devotees, connect educators, share with each other, for which we have our database. It's already there. You can register with your picture, your credentials. People can search, devotees can search and find out, okay, I need an educator in, let's say, Mumbai. Who are the educators in Mumbai? That database is existing. We launched it. It had some hiccups. But this year, our target is that at least 95% of ISKCON authorized schools, institute programs should become registered on our database, and they should be up to date. So when you move from, let's say, London to Delhi, you can quickly search and find out what educational programs are going on. So that is the purpose of this database, which is already active in our website. Forum or discussions, which allow devotees who are registered educators, they can form a private discussion group on the ministry website and develop a project. They can discuss amongst each other. Praman, this is an effort we're trying to undertake. It's a software which will allow devotees or communities which have devotees in far off distances to connect to each other. And this is a dream that we'll also have a mobile app which will take care of all of this, right? So this is with respect to connect. So I've covered now, since I last spoke, I covered learn as well as connect. I'll move to the next section, share. This section, share, is like the download section or the resources section. Here, we will share with the community our resources. So about an year back, we put together our digital library. This digital library, devotees can upload their resources directly, but it goes through some checks. We already have more than 1,000 resources from 70s, 80s and 90s. There was, in the 70s and 80s, Srila Prabhupada established many Gurukuls in the 70s. And many sincere educators were working there in the Gurukuls. And they produced books, audios, so many things, plays. Last year, we connected with some devotees in the United States, and husband and wife, who had actually digitized all of this. They had kept all of this. And we got it converted in a way that it is available for all of you. So you can go to our library and you can search for resources according to topic. If you want something on Ramayana, you can get it. Right? So that's a library. And if you're developing something, we request you to also share. So this is with respect to sharing. If you want to establish your temple, your center as a Bhakti Shastri Institute, the forms will be available on the ministry website. In fact, we'll make a automatic process on the website that you can submit your details, and within few weeks, we will let you know what is the status of the approval, along with the Board of Examiners. And standards for schools. We cannot make standards for everything at the same time. So we decided, let us focus on standards for primary schools or ISKCON schools. So that project is undertaken now in South Africa. There's a team and they're working with 2 educators in New Zealand. These educators in New Zealand, they're actually running a school. To give you an answer, Prabhu, they're running a school which is funded by the government, which teaches, but it's actually a Krishna school, Hare Krishna school. So they're working, they're helping us build these standards, guidelines, which we can share with other devotees so that they know, okay, I will take care. It's like a checklist. If I want to make a nice school, what is it that I can do? So that's with respect to sharing. Now, all of this that we're trying to undertake requires effort. We want to develop. We want to develop education. We want to develop the ministry for the purpose of education. And we welcome devotees who want to work with the ministry. If any of this that I've shared with you, you feel inspired, there is, in every circle, there is lifetime of service for each one of us. There's so much to be developed. Remember what I said? If we want to have 40,000 Bhakti Shastri institutes in Pakistan, you can just imagine how much effort we have to put in, right? But there's much effort. There's much effort, and I request and urge you, if anything that I've spoken inspires you, you want to work with the ministry, please let us know. We are also open-minded about projects that we want to undertake, not just the projects we have thought. If you feel that some project is important for education within ISKCON, then please share with us. We may not be able to develop it, but at least we can present it so that others can look at it. And if you're able to form your own teams, you're able to form projects, then why not? We want to facilitate that, so we need more projects. Last but not the least, which I'm not asking you for, I'm definitely not asking you for, is funds. At the end, Prabhu and Mataji started laughing. They had a private conversation. He whispered, must be the money. We are not asking for funds because we want to actually take it forward. But in the future, if you want to develop, there will be a need for funds. And Krishna will definitely send funds. We are quite confident. So, as you can notice, I've shared so much with you. These are all active projects that the ministry started in the last 1 year, and we're progressing slowly and gradually. Whenever somebody comes to our website, we don't want them to get confused. Rather, we want to share with them. There'll be a video, there'll be a way to navigate. And about us, we'll also talk about our founder Acharya, his vision for education, and it will also talk about the ministry team. Our executive committee, board of examiners, our regional representatives. We have Balimardan Prabhu here. He's our regional representative in North America, helping and inspiring devotees in education. So I pause here at the stage of this seminar. There was one more section which I wanted to speak about. There's not time left. But I'll only share with you one very basic model. If you want to make education a priority, so far I talked about local. Okay, this will not allow me. But if you want to make it a priority in your local community, please get a buy-in from your leaders. First thing you must do is buy-in from the leadership. If you can get hold of your temple president and the donors to say, we want education, please get a buy-in from the leaders. Prioritize education. Make education a priority in your temple center. Nothing works without money, volunteers, and resources. Allocate resources. Get your well-wishers to allocate resources. Build collaboration. Instead of reinventing the wheel, doing something from the scratch, look around. Talk to the ministry. Look around. Who else has done it well? You can save a lot of effort in doing so. Build collaboration. Harness technology. Use basic technology to help and develop your education system. So if you feel inspired in any of this that we've shared, you can please write to us on our address, or you can give your name here to me, and we'll be gladly wanting to serve you. Thank you so much for your time. I do not, I think, cross time, but if there are any questions, I can take 1 or 2 questions. Any comments or feedback from your end? Yes, Prabhu? Please. Yes. Prabhu, you can go onto the website. There is a button there called login or sign in. You can just register there. And you can say, do you want to register just as a user? Or if you want to register as an educator, then you can do that in the educators database. If you want to register your institute, you can register that also as an institute. You can even register a program. If you're running a program which is not an institute, but a program which is happening only once in 3 months, once in 4 months, even that can be shared. Okay? Any other question? Okay. Any comments or feedback for us that you'd like us to consider? Oh, I get a thumbs up. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for your kind participation. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.